the Lord became angry. In the book that I wrote, there's a chapter in there called The Seduction of Jezebel. And I have to go with this. The reason why the Lord brings correction, many of you may have heard me say it on TV, but I'll say it again. The reason why the Lord brings correction and instruction, the reason why the Lord chastises us, he chastises us because page 126 says that Titus 1:1 says, Paul, a bondservant of God, an apostle of a special messenger of Jesus Christ, the Messiah, to stimulate and promote the faith of God's chosen ones, and to lead them on to accurate discernment and recognition of an acquaintance with the truth, which belong to and harmonizes with and tends to godliness. So the reason why we are to be instructed as children and challenged as children, so that we can be stimulated and promoted, and so that our discernment can increase, so that we're not looking at stuff calling it God when it's the devil. So we may have accurate discernment. What does accurate discernment do? It brings about a harmonizing. Whew, that's powerful. I love that. It brings about a harmonizing which tends to godliness. What does that mean? That means that everything that happens in my life, when I am properly corrected, when I get the right kind of whooping, then it stimulates my discernment to the point that I can look at that situation and I don't care how it redresses itself, I still recognize that spirit. Because when I got corrected, my discernment was increased to the point that I know the demon. I don't care how it tries to camouflage itself and look different. And so what that does is it harmonizes my spirit with the will of God. Woo, I'm teaching already. It harmonizes me with the will of God. It's the harmonization is the same thing as when you have a choir and son, just lay your hands on the keys. I don't want nothing. I just want you to just lay your hand flat. Okay, that's a sound. That is a sound of a person that does not and cannot handle rebuke. That is the sound of a bastard child. But when you are corrected in the spirit, now give me a nice chord. It harmonizes, which means one key don't clash with the other. And it brings about a sweet sound in the spirit. Are you hearing that? And now watch this. Now what does harmonizing do? Harmonizing tends to my godliness. That means it babysits me. It keeps me from doing wrong. It watches over me. My discernment causes me to know what was right and what is wrong. Something happened when the word said that, and God became angry with Ahab because people say that the Lord was angry with him because he married Jezebel. But the depth that God wants me to show you tonight is that evil do not start with an event. Evil starts with a legacy. Now see, there's a difference between a person that makes a mistake in their walk with God and they have an incident and then they repent for that incident. But when you find people who are constantly having the same incidents, God, I love you tonight. When you find people that every time God get them out of one thing, they back in something else. When you find people that cannot hold on to their righteousness and cannot hold on to their godly walk, that is not a person who is making a mistake. That is a person who needs to recognize that evil is their lineage, which means they got to go back in their generation and find out, why